Hey guys, so I want to talk a little bit about my labor and delivery story and like how working out my whole pregnancy affected my labor. Before we get started, because I'm going to put her to bed, this is Shine Avery, Anastasia Stanton. She is perfect, but very sleepy and grumpy, so I'm going to put her down. But you did get to see her, and I'll show you guys some pictures later. All right. Okay, so starting up to the week leading up to my pregnancy, I was very, very tired. I actually had planned on taking maternity leave the Monday, actually after I had my baby, because I was completely done. I had a number of Facebook posts just saying that I was through with it, and so my body was already telling me that it was time for me to be done. That Monday, I believe Wednesday and Thursday of that week, I did work out. I worked out pretty extensively doing squats and lunges. I went and bought myself a yoga ball just to prepare myself for labor. I did stop Thursday because I had planned on having my baby shower that Sunday, and I didn't want to go into labor beforehand. So I basically took a break on Thursday and said I would wait until after I had her to begin working out again. I also had a doctor's appointment, and they had planned to induce me, I think, Monday, April 23rd is the day they were going to induce me for labor. So I was actually just planning on that day. I didn't do anything extra to make myself go to labor. I pretty much just waited. So the Friday before I had her, I ended up taking the day off. I didn't even take my daughter to school because I was too tired. I slept that whole day, and then that night I slept terribly. Saturday morning, I woke up and I had a shooting pain, and I immediately remembered that was what happened when I had Bailey Ray. I'm not a first-time mom. I have a 10-year-old, and so I called my husband. Well, I texted my husband and told him, like, I'm in labor. I timed them. They were 3 minutes apart. So at that point, what I did was I did my hair because I didn't want to look crazy in my pictures. And I did my daughter's hair as well. And then I got my bag and stuff together, and we headed to the hospital. So we get there, and the maternity ward elevator is broke, which has never, ever happened. I've been there a million times. So we ended up having to go to ER. ER was pretty quick. They put me in a wheelchair and took me upstairs. They took me to triage to check and see how dilated I was. At that point, I was only at 3, and so they were discussing whether or not they would send me home or not, but I was like, nope, I'm definitely in labor. There was a mix-up because they actually put my name in wrong. They actually were going through the process of questioning my complete medical history, and I was wondering why it was taking so long and why they were asking me so many questions, because I had been going to St. Luke's for years. But I found out that emergency ER had entered my name in wrong because my friends were trying to come see me, and they were being told that I wasn't there. That was a mess initially. So by 12:48, I had dilated to a 4, and they admitted me to a room, and the names of it all been worked out. I sat in my room for about an hour, and I wanted to go ahead and labor in the tub because I had like the whirlpool tubs with the massager, little water blast things in there, and that kind of moved my pregnancy along, my labor along quickly with Bailey Ray. And so I sat in there for an hour. When I came out, I was at like a 5, I believe, and the doctor broke my water for me. And when that happened, my contractions got like unbearable. They were extremely painful at that point. So to be clear, guys, I had no interest in having a natural birth. I wanted an epidural. I rushed myself to the hospital. Did not take any time other than doing hair to get there. When they broke my water, they decided to go ahead and get the anesthesiologist to go ahead and give me the epidural, but they couldn't find him. Guys, I sat in pain having contractions for 2 hours while they looked for this man. Maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours, but a long ass time when you're in labor. I was cussing, screaming, going off. When he did come in, I had to get in the most uncomfortable position ever. I had to put my knees almost to my chest with the chair. My big sister, the doctor, had to hold me while he tried to put the epidural in my back. He could not get it in there correctly, so he was literally digging in my back. Later on, my sister told him I had scoliosis, and that might have been what the issue was. But again, it took a very long time, and when he finally finished, keep in mind that it took so long for him to come and do my epidural. I actually shouldn't have even gotten one, but they felt bad that it was their fault, and so they ended up giving it to me. By the time they finished up and I was screaming and crying, it was about 10 minutes before it was time for me to actually push. So the meds did not even kick in time for me to begin pushing the baby out. So 10 minutes after that extremely traumatizing epidural process, it was time for me to push, and I basically did not want to. I was not mentally ready to push. They asked me if I felt the urge to push, and I lied and said no. They pulled me down. It was time to start pushing, and I basically was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't push. But I went ahead and pushed, and her head came out in the first push, and I just pretty much screamed for a little bit, and I held my breath and just pushed as much as I can. Overall, I pushed for 7 minutes. Like, it was a 7-minute process. I had no stitches. I had no tears, nothing. Just like with my first child. But I will tell you that I definitely attribute that to my squats and like my lunges and all the exercises I did, because really without the epidural process, my labor was actually pretty easy. From the first contraction I felt until 4:09 p.m., it was about 7 hours completely. And I had no issues afterwards, neither did the baby. The baby never left my side. She had no issues whatsoever. So that was pretty much it. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. But I came home after 2 days, and, I hit the ground running like I usually do because I felt great. Unfortunately, on a couple days ago, I actually ended up getting admitted to the hospital for high blood pressure. They believe that I have postpartum preeclampsia, which is very interesting because I've had issues with high blood pressure in the past, but I didn't have any issues with high blood pressure throughout my whole pregnancy because I was extremely athletic, or I don't know if you would call it that. I worked out a lot. I exercised a lot while I was pregnant, and leading up to the time I was pregnant, I drank a lot of water, and so I ended up being taken off meds, but my blood pressure was the highest it's ever been. I was admitted to the hospital for a day to monitor, and I'm now on a blood pressure medication that they hope that I'll be able to get off within a couple months once my hormones balance back out. But that shows you that stuff can't happen regardless. They really can't explain why that is. I feel great. I've been watching my water intake. I've been eating as healthy as I can. I am 15 pounds away from my pre-baby weight. I am not even 2 weeks postpartum, so I'll start walking and things like that this weekend once I get the okay from my doctor. But other than that, things are going pretty well. She's extremely healthy. She was born Saturday, April 7th, 6 pounds, 11 ounces. She's now 6 pounds, 13 ounces. She's sleeping well. She's breastfeeding exclusively, and I'm extremely proud of her. But I do want to say that people who kind of have negative things to say about working out, because I had a lot of people's opinions that came up during the time I worked out on my Instagram a lot. She came out perfect, and her being born in 37 weeks is number for me. My first daughter was born 37 weeks. I was born 37 weeks. I knew I would not go to 40 weeks, and I don't think it has anything to do with me working out. So I do want to encourage people who are scared of exercising to please do it. With modification, there are exercises you cannot do, and ask questions. But I'll tell you that I feel really good, and I felt good working out while I was pregnant. It really helped me get through it. I hate being pregnant, but being able to exercise was a really good relief for me of stress and help me get through it. So I would encourage you to do what you can. If you feel tired, don't go. If you feel sick, don't go. But just make an effort to try to be as healthy as you possibly can during pregnancy, because it makes a difference.